So we have to remove the delusion to end suffering caused by the world. And we have already understood the world is suffering and the world created by us through the mind. Excuse me. Let us understand this delusion in a different way. You see me, I see you. So, whatever we see and perceive at the physical level is certain. It seems to be certain. You all are handsome and beautiful and rich, for example, at the physical level. We are aware of it. We can find out. But even if we are most beautiful, that does not make me peaceful. Peace is inside. I am rich. That does not make me happy inside. Are you getting it? I'm trying to make you aware of the delusion, how the delusion catches. I have to remember this all the time. At physical level, shape, size, beauty, height, color, huh? And you hear people speak eloquently, intelligently, grammatically correct. It does not make them happy, peaceful, joyful, lovable. Are you clear? So there is a certainty of, say, for example, my gender, my shape, my size, my color. But what is uncertain is hidden inside what I'm going to say at the subtler level. The same thing applies to you. And what I find is certain is constantly changing. Shape, size, beauty, everything is changing. So, what is hidden inside, I have to find out what is that certainty and what is that certain. I don't know yet. I have to start with a belief pending inquiry. Now, that is why you have been attending my session for many years. Why? There is a sense of belief. There is a sense of belief. But belief pending inquiry. I need not to believe your gender, your shape, and your size, your beauty, because it is perceived. So, what is at the subtler level? The master says, I have to start with the belief that peace is my essential nature, love is my essential nature, and then we need to inquire. So, now, how can you define the delusion here? I am caught in appearances outside. I am caught in what is uncertain at the physical level. I am caught in that. I believe what is at the physical level. And because I don't see what is at the subtler level, I don't have a belief. And that is the cause of the delusion. Are you getting it? So, our mind should be able to see Our mind should be developed to that level of awareness where we can internalize everything in the world. If we do not internalize, you are caught in appearances, you are caught in outside things, and then you will fall into delusion. Did you get it? Even if you did not get it, let us make it clear. Take an example. I'm not handsome, but take it me that I'm the most handsome guy. How can you find I am foolish or not? It is subtle. It is subtle. How can you find out that I have a scattered mind or not? How can you find out there is an attachment? How can you find out there is an emotional dependence? How can you find out there is a sense of selfishness? How can you find out there is an intellectual paralysis? These are all world is suffering. So unless I develop a quality to see inside, to have an internal perception, I cannot get rid of the delusion. At the physical level, everything is uncertain. Today I am rich, tomorrow I am poor. Today I am healthy, tomorrow I am sick. You see the uncertainty. The certainty comes from deeper within. So if I get rid of the uncertainty, what is happening in my mind, I can get rid of the delusion, and that is only possible by satsang. The second step that I have said, what is satsang? The first step is the world is the delusion, samsara is suffering, and the second is that I have to understand. I have to start with the belief that peace is there, happiness is there. What is the reason of this belief that peace and happiness is there? Can you tell me? Do you have some thought? Every time since our birth, whether we were mature or not, whether we learnt any language or not, until today, whenever there is a suffering, my mind has an innate urge to move to the peace and happiness. See that? We have an innate urge. Every living being has an innate urge to move to that peace and happiness. So that gives me the belief, yes, that idea. You are in stress. Do you think that, oh, let me get more stress? No, let me get out of the stress. That is the indication that our real self is of the nature of peace and happiness. So by constant listening and learning and contemplation and reflection, what we call the second step is the satsang, we start removing that uncertain areas which we have felt it is certain. Money will buy happiness. I kept it, so I know intellectually, but there is no internalization. Everyone knows. I can bet you. Even if you ask 10-year-old and 15-year, they know it 100%. No, money cannot buy happiness. But I don't have that internal perception. So if I have that internalization, I'm a seeker. And that's why you all are a seeker. But to remain a seeker is not enough. I have to find out. After a seeker, I follow the journey and I experience. That is what the third group, I said realization. I start realizing the mind now lives in wisdom. At this moment, I have a fever, but that the mind lives in wisdom. Even I can say I have a fever. For example, I'm saying I don't have a fever. So I say example that I have a fever, okay. The internalization. The body has a fever, I don't have it, so this is internalization. Mind continues to live in wisdom. Why it has to live in wisdom? There is an emotional freedom. Why emotional freedom is required? Because I want to remain free from the delusion. That is a realization. And do you remember the 7 factors of the body? Outer change is not required. I have to say the outer change. Oh, outer change can bring me happiness. So do the outer change, whatever is required. We have to go to the party, so we have to dress ourselves, outer change. But it should not be the cause of happiness. I should maintain my awareness. That awareness comes by internalization, and the internalization comes by constant listening and learning, contemplation and reflection. We are going a little deeper. So then I also recognize the hypocrisy in me. Oh, am I doing something outside which does not correspond to my inner peace and happiness? I drop it. That opens up my mind. That gives me a sense of equanimity. And then comes the 4th group. I have been using 4th group is the self-remembering. I remind, I remind, I recognize, I revise, and I repeat in my head. Until what time? Well, the time comes when it is 100% settled. When it is 100% settled, you need not to do it, remind you. You are already there. You wake up in the morning, you are into that state. You are in the afternoon, you are into that state. You are in the evening, you are into that state. You are with the honey, you are into that state. You need not to remind you. What is that? That is what the awakening is. What is the way? You realize that real self is my nature. So I need not to remind myself. So why I have to remind myself? Because there are certain areas of the mind which still lives in delusion and ignorance, which is causing the problem. So if you go back and understand the certainty and uncertainty, my mind wants to be certain what is uncertain. So it means what? It means what? Delusion is ignorance about the very nature of the reality. Because my mind makes what is uncertain as a certain, and that certain is my reality. I have to get rid of it. I have to get rid of it. And that is why I made it a first group. The world with nine issues. So now you see, you have to also discover and contemplate that how delusion operates in different context, in situation. Getting stuck in traffic. So that delusion projects what it projects. What the heck, I have to reach my office in time, and now I'm stuck in traffic. Situation, relations. My honey is not listening. Why you are not listening to the wisdom? Craving. Think. You have to think. Anger or agitation. loneliness. These are the different situations and the context where the delusion operates very easily. After all, you should appreciate that I'm lonely. That is why I have a lot of problems. We are born alone. We have to go alone. Anger or agitation, craving or obsession, relations. So, relations, I create an emotional dependence. I talk and communicate through my intellectual paralysis. Then I have a problem. I blame and complain. I react. I've been telling you that. So what happens? You are listening that to stop blaming, complaining, and reacting to the outer situations and people and the things. One day you are listening, you have heard me 100 times, and 101st time now you are able to, today you are internalized. How you internalize? Your mind wants to burst out with the blame and complaint, and you recognize, you realize, you become aware, and that awareness dropped your blame and complaint from the mind, and the mind expanded, and you feel that you are calm and relaxed the first time. After listening 100 times, you realize that this is what is important. So, should I never? Yes, you can criticize without emotional dependence. That is what the critical analysis is. You see, that is what we say critical. Yeah, we should criticize, but free from intellectual paralysis, free from emotional dependence. So, what is happening? I have a belief inside. What was uncertain, now I see the certainty inside, and there I have an internal perception, and that internal perception manifest outside in my behavior and attitude is going to change my life forever. I can bet you your life will change forever. So, can you start seeing your life delusion obscures the perception of my reality? Well, you can say it is philosophical. Make it simple. There is a fog, it is obscuring the perception of the reality. What is that fog? I get into anxiety, I have a duality, I have a conflict. My mind likes to blame and complain. It is agitated. It is a fog. Can I recognize self remembering? Can I recognize, let me get out of this delusion first? Make it simple. Now answer the question why we should remain, why does the delusion manifest in my life after all? Ask yourself. And the answer is the very beginning of the today's session. Why does the delusion manifest? So what is uncertain? I make it certain. I am rich, I will be happy. Not a possibility, my friend. I love my honey, I will be happy. No, your love is attachment, then you cannot be happy. Are you understanding that? So I'm answering the question why does the delusion manifest? Are you getting it? Same thing in a situation, in relations. You all are seekers now, higher level of a seeker. You have to instantly become aware of that. Now I ask you how to dispel the delusion. Pick up out of the four groups. Word is suffering. Second group is satsang. Third group is realization. Fourth group is self-remembering. The life will change. I can bet you the life will change. I can promise you. on behalf of the Eastern wisdom. So satsang, obviously you can say this self-inquiry. Nobody is looking outside what you are thinking. So your contemplative thinking and reflective thinking, nobody is able to see it. But someone blames you, you have started a contemplative thinking and you are able to maintain your calmness. You may be highly rich, that may not prevent someone to blame you. I'm looking at, you are the most beautiful, maybe you may be the Miss Universe or Mr. Universe. That does not prevent anyone to blame you. So you are separating the delusion. The moment you recognize the delusion, you remove it. You remove those blind spots by diving deeper into yourself. Instead of acting on the autopilot. Autopilot is world is suffering. Answer the question where the delusion is located. Located in the mind. So I have to treat the mind because the delusion is located in the mind. I have not to treat the other person. You blamed me and I start reacting to you. It will not help. The focus of the delusion is in my mind. Are you getting it? Are you understanding it? Not very deep for you guys. You are stuck in a traffic, so you start abusing the traffic. But from where the abuse comes? From the mind. So delusion is located in the mind. So I have to treat not the traffic, but I have to treat my mind. Someone blames you constantly, for example. So I have to maintain my calmness to check whether I can maintain my calmness. In that state of calmness, the other person who is blaming you will help you realize why the other person is blaming. There is a corresponding emotional dependence inside there. I have to get rid of it. Think. Think. In every session, we are going deeper and deeper. So, as a seeker, we are learning, we are understanding. Delusion impacts my perception. Note it down in your head. Any delusion impacts my perception. Whether I have a perception of the reality or whether I have a perception that the world is suffering. Remember, it only colors my perception. No, I have lot of money, I can be happy. No, it has already colored your perception. No, I don't have money, that's why I'm suffering. It has already colored your perception. Are you understand this? So I have a perception. You are most handsome person, hence you should be nice. Being nice is internal state. You see? And now you can explain. First impression is the last impression. It does not make any sense. It does not make any sense. First impression is outside at the physical level. So we are trying to understand how this delusion impacts my perception. My perception, if there is a delusion, it has impacted my perception. So what does it mean? It has obscured the reality. I did not internalize. When I did not internalize, I have to go back to the satsang. I have to return to the basic principles of Eastern wisdom, and that is what the pragmatic approach in our life is. So, because it impacts my perception, delusion is there in the mind, it clouds the pure consciousness which can reflect the reality through the mind. And now it is not able to reflect. So, when it is not able to reflect, I get into anxiety, hesitation, stress, duality, blame, complaint, reaction. I have to see from this perspective. Say a dear and the near one is constantly complains you. You have to see how I should change my perception in order to get rid of the blame and complaint coming from outside. I have not to react to the other. Are you getting it? I have to work in my mind. Every master gives one beautiful example. The rope appears as a snake. Does the rope did something that it appears as a snake, or it is my perception? Ask yourself. Ask yourself. It is my perception. So I have to correct my perception. Now apply the same thing. Someone is blaming, someone is complaining, someone is hesitating. So I have to look corresponding movement of hypocrisy, emotional dependence, intellectual paralysis, scattered mind, my foolishness that is present in the mind. I have to get rid of it. You get rid of it and you see how the other person changes. We as a seeker, we need to contemplate and reflect and do the practice constantly. Last question and find out the answer. Why does the delusion persist and present? You should answer why the delusion constantly persists in my life, in my mind. What do you think is your answer? I'm not going deeper. Lack of self inquiry, lack of satsang, lack of conscious thinking. You are only my love. I love you so much. You are the only person I love. It is emotional dependence. I don't recognize. I don't think. Let me think first who is my love. You are challenging my love. Yes, I'm challenging not your love, I'm challenging your emotional dependence. You have a sense of sensuality that has taken over your mind, that is saying that you are only my love. That fever of sensuality, once it drops down, you will see that now you are not my love. Are you getting it? That fever is gone. I started the talk today, certainty and uncertainty. So, in delusion, what is uncertain, what is constantly changing, I make it certain. In delusion, uncertainty or unreality or constantly changing is made unchanging in my mind. I imagine that it is unchanging. I gave you the example of that young guy who said, I gave 200% to this girl. My simple question, who told you? There was an intense urge for the sensuality. That is why I gave 200% to that girl. So we are still talking about moving from ignorance to wisdom. We have to hammer the delusion by these processes. Close your eyes, place, position, and posture. If you remember, I'm not going, you all are seekers. You have to get rid of any obstruction, place, position, posture. You all are seekers. And then being comfortable, being carefree. I'm again not going there. So why I'm not going there? Because you know how to settle yourself in being comfortable and being carefree, my friends. I need not to go for it. Yes, and then Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. So remember, 3 times mental chanting, 3 times you repeat the meaning. May there be happiness for all, may there be happiness for all, may there be happy. It's a tradition, or you can say it's a ritual. And then knowledge part. So there, you want to change that perception. So you have to consciously contemplate and think, if the happiness is the essential nature of everyone, do I need to blame, complain, and react to anyone in the world? Mind says no. So who changed? The mind. So mind has dropped that delusion. So perception has changed. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Do you remember? Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. 3 times. May there be peace for all. May there be peace for all. This is a form of, you can say ritual, but even if you can do it once, when you can do it once, because you are a seeker. So that now the ritual has converted into a contemplative practice. Pay attention. Oh, peace is the essential nature of everyone. Peace within me. peace within you, and still you blame and complain me. But I see that peace is within you. So now I recognize first the delusion in me. So I stop reacting, and then I am able to maintain my calmness. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. Completeness. So your mind thinks complete wholeness, holiness. So we directly move to the spirituality when we say holiness. So literally, practically, pragmatically, it means a sense of completeness. When there is a sense of completeness in you, you play and have fun in the world outside. Now the world is not suffering. Now the world is the play and a fun for you. Why? As long as we live physically. Physical existence is there. We play our role, we have a play and a fun all the time. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. May there be auspiciousness for all. Auspiciousness, if I say word minus delusion, is auspiciousness. What? Yes, it is always there. You're always giving new definition. No, I'm helping your mind to peace through the wisdom. And in that state, look deep inside. Look deep inside the forehead in the space. Drop Om Shanti. And then start breathing into the belly this time, not into the chest. Long, deep in the hissing breath. Yes, belly breathing. Om Shanti, stillness in the body, and breathing. Continue. Any resistance to the breathing, endure it, and then move from endurance to the joy of doing. And stop this breathing. The first thing, you should be aware of the flow of the breath. Flow of the breath of both the nostrils. If any flow is less, then you should be paying attention to the flow of that nostril which has a less flow. And nothing else. You are just totally in a passive state of awareness of the breath. Now you are looking again inside the forehead in the space. There you continue to drop gently Om Shanti, and you start breathing this time both from the belly and the chest, keeping your body steady. And if your mind resists, you endure it. You tell the mind, no, I have to do it. And from endurance, you enter into the joy of living. Start breathing. First from the belly, then into the rib cage. It is only one breath. Long, deep, and the hissing breath. The hissing sound should be there. It should not be silent. You inhale first into the belly, then into the rib cage. You exhale from the belly and the rib cage. You continue. The mind will definitely object to it, and that is where the resistance comes, and you have to endure that resistance to enter into the joy of living. Or joy of doing. Long, deep, and hissing breath. Resistance is there instantly recognized. The mind has to endure it. Why? That is where the purity comes. Now, make this hissing breath as a deep, silent, and slow breathing. Let us combine the second step also. You start inhaling deep, first into the belly, then into the rib cage. It will take care of the flow of the nostrils. And as you inhale, the mind moves from the top center of the head into the spine, reaching to the tailbone, and you are singing Om Shanti. That Shanti ends at the tailbone. And as you exhale, your mind moves from the tailbone, singing Om Shanti. Shanti ends at the top center of the head. Please continue. Now see, is there a joy of doing it? Endurance has left you. Why endurance? But resistance has gone. The mind has a natural flow. Shanti. Do you see the internalization? We started with the long and hissing breathing. That's more or less at the physical level. But when we are doing it mentally, Om Shanti, do you see the internalization? But when the mind can internalize itself without any active step, that is the meaning that we have become the highest level of a seeker. Now leave this step also. Now you see the total internalization process begins now. Move the mind inside the cave of your heart. Visualize the triangle of any color pointing upward, equilateral triangle. And then move your mind on each side of a triangle, dropping Om Shanti, moving the mind in a clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. So every time you move the mind with Om Shanti on the side of a triangle, clockwise and anti-clockwise, and you can find the sync now. Mind experiences that sync. So the moment there is a sync, singing deeper Om, pushing the mind inside the cave of your heart, deep inside. Mind seemingly stops. There you say Shanti. And now you are not doing anything. It's a question of revelation. You find you are into the state of self-absorption, conscious self-absorption. There is no Om Shanti, there is nothing else. You are just living into that state of awareness. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your Buddha palms, place it on your eyes, open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences, we'll share our experiences. And if you have any question, how are you, Samir? We'll have few people share our experiences only. Yes.
Sir, he was moving above all the feelings, thoughts, and everything.
Good.
He was moving all over the body, above all the thoughts, all the feelings,
Very good.
everything was settling down, and peace was revolving everywhere.
Very good.
It was moving in my legs, moving in my head, neck, everywhere.
That's really a good experience, and I could see even your face. It's a glowing the piece. Beautiful. How are you, Stephen?
Thank you, sir. I'm good, very good. The lesson is just another reminder of the principles of the Eastern wisdom is with us all the time, and we need to use it all the time. And the major reminder is to live from inside out and not outside in. And my meditation was just quiet, smooth. There was no obstacles. When we got to the heart center, it was just a complete feeling of contentment.
Beautiful. Yes.
Thank
Anything, any principle you remember and you live into it. Yes, you rightly said it is from inside to outside, not from outside to inside. Beautiful. How are you, David and Jerry?
Thank you, sir. Stephen's point about living from the inside to the outside versus the outside inside. The lesson reminded me of a lesson that my mentor taught me years ago, and that was always take things to what's called the first principle, which is the truth, and then from there you can make decisions. And for whatever reason, I thought of that when we're going through the lesson, and it's really the first principles of businesses are consciousness. So if we live that in our personal life, we live from our consciousness out, to Stephen's point, there's peace and happiness. So because of that, I had a very, very, very deep, wonderful, blissful meditation. And happy birthday, Stephen.
Happy birthday, Stephen. Yes, to you also. Happy birthday. You see, rightly you said, so when your mentor talked to you and told you the first principle is the truth. And what we say, the truth that exists in the past, present, and the future. And then we further go down and we see it is an unchanging reality. So now when we come to the unchanging reality, that is what I explained, that whatever is changing cannot be the truth. But if I claim what is changing as unchanging, there comes the problem. And then we move from outside to inside. And when we start with the truth, it is always moving from inside to outside. Beautifully put. Thank you. How are you, Jerry?
Sir, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it was a really nice, calm, steady, deep meditation. Breath flow is equal. The takeaway for me was that there aren't any difficult situations or people.
Yeah.
Those are all with the auspiciousness, those are all opportunities to see how do we contribute.
Definitely. If we see ourselves as a contributor, there is no problem. And if we see the world as a consumer, we always have a problem. Always have a problem. That is the beautiful way to put it. Thank you. And how are you, Dennis?
Thank you. It was peaceful, very comfortable meditation. There is a sense of balance and equanimity in the meditation and after the meditation.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Think of it and listen to this talk again. My perception changes from inside. My perception, if it changes from outside, it will cause a problem. It will cause a problem. Oh, look at this guy, he's very rich, but he may be totally unhappy. So we have to see, oh, she is very beautiful. But when you approach her and that is all for today. Thank you.
Namaste.